Wimmera Football, oh, what a weekend we've had last week. There was a couple of absolute ripping matches. Scotty Stewart from the Warwick Herald is with us. I caught up with him during the week, and I'll tell you what, he's going hammer and tongs at printing papers on that massive printing press there at the Warwick Herald. How are you, Scotty?
Yeah, going well, thanks, Wayne.
Well, I tell you what, I was very thrilled to have a tour from David, the owner of the Warwick Herald, to show me the magnificent outfit, the wonderful press you've got there, and all the work you blokes do. You don't just print papers locally, do you?
No, that's right. Yeah, it was good to see you during the week there, floating through, and you had a bit of a look at the new press. No, that's right. We do a few here. We've got the Dimboola, Rainbow, Hopelands, the Horsham and our own papers, and there's a bit of scope for something else. Just the way the printing world's happening around the state. So who knows what's going to happen in the future? But it keeps busy, and it keeps pumping out some plenty of papers. So it's good.
Oh, it's fantastic. I tell you what, it was fantastic. They were pumping out plenty of action in Wimmera Football last week. The Southern Mallee Giants got going. 16-10, 106 to the Horsham Saints, 5-4-34. I picked the Southern Mallee Giants. I don't think I picked them by a margin of 12 goals.
No, I think the real Giants stood up last week, didn't they? We sort of were talking about it the last few weeks, the few players injured and unavailabilities. Well, they certainly got them all back, and they certainly showed exactly what they're capable of and what they can produce in this final series, because that was pretty dominant display, wasn't it, against the Saints, who we've talked about them all year. They've done very well to finish second on the ladder, but they were sort of found out a bit last week. Big opening by the Giants, wasn't it? And they just dominated right through to the final whistle.
Yeah, Jared Garth couldn't get near it, the defensive unit. I was having a chat to Sammy White up at the Hopeton Hotel during the week when I met up with him, and I tell you what, he said they were able to shut down those two key forwards, or the goal-kicking power. Mitch Martin got a couple, but they were just able to do it. Rupert Sangster, Josh Webster, and Jackson Fisher, Coleman Shack from the midfield, they were dominant, 3-3 and 2-2 to get it done. And this man, Makitcha Rotanua Onus, was very, very good. He owned the ball from the middle and delivered it beautifully to the forward line. Let's go to the other matches in qualifying final into reserve grade. We'll have a look at them first. And Minyip Murtoa, they should say here, the Horsham Saints were able to come into this game and lost another qualifier. Minyip Murtoa, 7-4-46 to 3-3-21.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a upset in this one, wasn't it, with the way the Saints have been handling the reserves so far this year. But the Burrows, they stood up and got the job done. They trailed a little bit the first quarter, but they just gradually went ahead and set up a second semi-final this weekend.
And what about the underage game? Ararat and the Saints, 7-5 to the Saints, Ararat 7-3. The Murtoa ground on Saturday was absolutely pumping with car horns going off as both sides went hammer and tongs. In the end, the Saints get through. Yeah,
the juniors started the day pretty well, didn't they? But this game would have been a cracker. It's only the 2 points separating the two sides, so I'm assuming that these two could meet again in the finals somewhere along the line, and could have a repeat of that result. Or maybe not the result that way, but another close game, I'm thinking.
Yeah, and the 14s, it was the Saints who played 4 games on the day. They were represented across all grades in those qualifiers and and it was a 6-goal win by the Saint boys in the 14s.
It looks like that, with the way they're finishing up on the ladder, don't they? You got the Horsham kids are undefeated, Saints are second, Stall third, and results seem to be falling that way. And talk about the Eagles in a minute, but the way the ladder positions are, the way the results are going.
And what about this on the Sunday? In senior football, it was a big upset. Dimboola 13-7-85, Minyip Murtoa 11-9-75. The Mighty Boroughs are out of the finals race.
Yeah, it was a weird one, wasn't it? I couldn't get to this game. We actually come through Ararat earlier that morning, and it seemed like it was a beautiful day in Ararat. And then listening to a bit on the radio later, and you think it was a gale blowing to one end of the ground the way the game went. The Boroughs jumped out with 7 goals in the first quarter, and then answered by the Roos in the second quarter with their own 7 goals. So you think there was a howling wind, but more reports. A bit of a tricky breeze, maybe a couple of goals one way or the other, but by half-time she was a bit of a battle, and the Roos, they've taken a lot by surprise with this result, I'm thinking, me included, after what we spoke about last week, I should say, and got the job done by 10 points and broke the 5-game losing streak and kept the finals alive.
Oh, and Dimboola were shocking in the first quarter because Minyip Murtoa had kicked 7 goals, and after that it was almost like they stopped to a walk in the second, and then in the third they got going again and then spluttered away in the last with a big come-from-behind win by Demi. Billy Hayes, the boy from Bordertown, was good. Dylan Lant was 4 goals and John Ross 4 goals. They were great. Lockie Delahunty tried hard for his side, who are now out of commission in the seniors. The reserve grade, in a quick look through, we see that it was another particularly good game put up there by the D's, beating the Warriors 11-18 to 5-8.
Yeah, the Demons could have a bit of a say in the reserves competition in the next couple of weeks. The interesting battle this weekend, but pretty strong side in the reserves at the minute, and they could go a fair way.
What about the under-17? Minyip Murtoa, 9-6-60 to nil, 2-5-17. Nil boys are eliminated in this grade, but a good game, I'm told, and some good kids coming through over at the Boroughs.
Yeah, that was a good win. I think, again, that's the latter positions probably determined results there as well. But, it was a really good win by the Boroughs. What's that? Set up a clash with the Rats this weekend, so that'll be a good hit out.
Yeah, very one. And what about your young Eagles? The young lads, they might be fledgling Eagles, but they were good ones. 10-13-73 to beat Ararat, 2-1-13, and that was a great win.
That's a dominant win, isn't it? Yeah, that's a really strong setup there. You just look through the scores, a couple of goals, and only one in that second quarter, but then finished with 3 and 4 in the second half. Young Cooper Preston's got back into that team, and he's bagged 6 in a best on ground performance. So all good for the Eagles there, and it'll set up a interesting game against Stawell this weekend.
Will do, and very, very good performance by the boys that really look like they're going to go one step further, I reckon, these young Warwick boys. Let's have a look at senior football and the games to be played this weekend. It's semi-final action, and we are into the second round of finals, and on the Saturday, it's to see who gets a dip into a grand final. Is it Ararat or is it the Southern Mallee Giants? Now we have a contender in the Giants who've got their full team on the park. No injuries, I was told, through the week. Well, maybe no injuries, and I think that's what they tell the media when they ask the question. But Ararat, I reckon, have been at the top of the table all year. You and I chatted about this during the week, and we're going to have to work out our tips. So I'm going to go opposite whatever you tip, so I better ask what you tip first.
Yeah, we did have a bit of a chat about this quickly, didn't we? And I think we're going to end up on different pages. Because I'm going to stick with the Rats because they deserve to be the favourites for this game. Not that that's any advantage to them, but they've undefeated. They had the week off last week. They probably Matty Wilder would have had a good look at the Giants and the Saints last weekend, and they will have these boys prepared pretty well for this game. And I think it's going to be a ripper because, and we sort of spoke about it during the week, the matchups that are going to happen. I mean, Matty Wilder's going to be looking at the Giants' keys, whether they're in through the middle or up in the forward line, and Kieran's going to be exactly the same, checking out the Tommy Mills and partners down there in the forward line and the players through the midfield. So it'll be an interesting battle for, sort of off the field, on the sidelines there with the selectors and how they're making their moves and who gets the right ones. And for me, look, I'm just thinking it'll be Ararat because they do deserve to be up there. They've had 2 good wins throughout the year. Albeit the second ones are probably going to be a bit of an undermanned setup for the Giants, but they still got the job done. They won by 5 goals that first time and 10 in the second. So I'll stick with Matty's boys, but I reckon it'll be a cracker of a game here at Anzac Park.
Oh, she's going to be on. I've gone with the Southern Mallee Giants. I reckon that these very, very tall Giants might just tread over those mini mouses down there at Anzac Park, Warwick Nabil, where you'll be out there having a very, very good look at it on your home deck for this massive game. And what about Horsham Saints? Can they respond? Can they get back? Can Dimmy come home from nowhere and take them at Beulah? This is a huge match on the Sunday.
Yeah, this is another big one, isn't it? But this will top off the semi-finals nicely, I think, with the way that what Dimmy produced last week. You would have thought, after the 5-game losing streak, well, she might have been one-horse races in these games, but gee, they turned the corner last week, and you never know what that sort of stuff can do, can you? You put one of those wins together, and the momentum that they're going to take into this game will be massive. It's a bit of a shame for that. I'm tipping not a shame, I shouldn't say that. It's I'm going to be tipping Dimboola because I think that momentum that they got last week, they'll take it in because the Horsham Saints, they've had such a good year. They've already won both of the encounters throughout the year. The last one was by 8 goals in round 16 and they dominated that game. But I just got a feeling that the Dimmy boys, Dylan Land, come back into that team last week and with 4 goals, and he put up a pretty good showing, and I'm thinking he might be in for another good showing up there at Beulah on Sunday. So she'll be another good game this one. But I just got a feeling that Dimmy might have that momentum.
Oh, I tell you what, Saints couldn't possibly play 2 bad games in a row like their last week's performance. I'm going for the Saints to respond against Dimboola, so we've got opposite each other. It's a big weekend. It's actually a big weekend in the Northern Wimmera because we've got both games, one at Warwick Nabil on Saturday and then the Beulah game on the Sunday, hosted by the Southern Mallee Giants. And great to have you on board from the Warwick Herald. Scotty Stewart, I'll let you go. You have a great weekend.
Yeah, no worries. Good on you, Wayne.